Well, mate, we're back here again, the grand final podcast for 2023 of the NRRRL Gingy and Foxy Wrap. What a season.
Big season,
Big
wasn't
season, huge. One more game to go.
One more game.
We've got some guests coming on tonight.
Yeah, we've got some guests
coming on tonight. We might get into the guest work straight away and then we'll finish off with the rest of you sucking them in, big fella.
Yeah, look at that camera shot.
Have a look. Hey, Harry, I don't know whether you can see this, but Les has lost a fair bit of weight. But anyway, look, guys, we're going to get into the podcast tonight. As I said, we've got some special guests on. We've got the NRRRL president, Mark Harrison. We hope to be able to have the Ballina, is he Ballina captain?
Captain, yes.
Ballina captain, Jess Perry.
Yeah.
We were hoping to get the Ballina coach on, but we'll have a bit of a yarn about that in the whatevs.
Yeah, we'll talk him about him
We'll talk about him in the whatevs.
Yeah.
So look, we're going to do it a bit different tonight, guys. We're going to actually get straight into the conversations with the head honcho, Mr. Harrison, and we're going to get his take on the season, get his take on this weekend, and then we're going to flow into what happened last weekend, some interesting points come out of last weekend, and then also probably get a bit of an idea about what people in the competition at the operational end are looking forward to about this weekend, and more importantly, how they think the season panned out. So we're going to get straight into it.
Let's jump straight into it, yeah.
Here he is, Mr. Harrison. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, guys. Yeah, well, very well.
First and foremost, thanks for taking the time out and putting up with our little bit of a fun and games at the start. We you know what it's like. It's a very professional podcast, this one. We don't have many glitches along the way, and thank you for your patience is probably what I'd say more than anything. But, mate, more importantly, mate, thanks for making the time to come on tonight, and really, you know, this is a big weekend for you as the president of the competition. It's a big weekend for everyone that assists and supports you in their role on the NRRRL Management Committee, and also, obviously, for the teams that are taking part this weekend in every grade. And probably lastly, every team that took part in this year's, I just think it was a brilliant competition. I'm not being biased. I know people think from other competitions that watch us, continue to watch us, keep watching us. But this is the best competition in New South Wales country by far.
Yeah.
Without people like Mark Harrison, I'm not put any pressure on you, Harrow, either. We don't have these sort of competitions. So, Harrow, straight to you, mate. Just going into this weekend, mate, your thoughts on the season? How do you think it went? How do you think it's been up to this point?
Mate, it's been a great season, fantastic. Myself and the rest of the board members couldn't be more happy with really what's happened. Massive changes, as you know, obviously from last year. And to see what happened at the end of the year with all four competitions, where certain clubs are fighting over the position 4, 5, 6, really, that probably shows in itself how close the competition was and how great a spectacle it's been all year. Yeah, couldn't be more than happier, to be honest.
Yeah. Mate, I'd have to agree, to be totally honest.
Yeah,
I agree. Mate,
I really like the way the finals set out was done this year compared to last year. You know,
great
the
concept.
top 6.
Great concept.
1 versus 2 get a week off.
Yeah.
The others battle it out. I thought it was better.
Yeah. It actually did, mate. I think from a overall rugby league perspective, both spectators, teams that were participating in the back end of the season, and more importantly, those players that took part in that back end of the season. Because, Harry, you're 100% of the money, mate. It wasn't just the 4, 5 and 6 makeup of the competition. I think, you know, the way that even that 7 and 8, right down to those last two, I think you probably had 8 right up until the last round. There was potentially 8 teams all vying for 6 spots.
Yeah.
So that in itself, I think in itself speaks volumes for one, the standard of the competition. 2, I think the way that the season flowed, and then more importantly, that wonderful concept that the group came up with in the end around the top 6. I think there's ticks all around for me, mate. I think it's, you know, I've obviously been on 2 ends of it. Mm-hmm. I've been on the coaching side of it from a northern perspective, and then, you know, now on the podcast side, and then I've got a really great opportunity on the weekend to do something different as well, and we'll talk about that later. But Mate, congratulations. It's been a great season. I totally agree with everything you've said, mate. I think sometimes you under, I think underappreciate the people that have done the job at the top end, because without you guys, we don't have the standard of the competition that we had.
There's a lot of hard work that nobody knows about, going behind the scenes.
It certainly is, Liz. Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Yeah, great to have the support.
Mate, that being said, you've got some interesting, well, you've had an interesting, how can we say it, 4 weeks of finals footy. Once the competition was settled in that top 6, particularly in the first grade competition, because I think it was just pretty much, it was actually like that in every grade. Those 4 grades that are participating this weekend, the Ladies League Tag, the under-18s, the reserve grade competition, I just think that the way that's all worked out for you guys, and the way it's worked out for the clubs that are involved in all those clubs that took part in the final series, mate, I don't know. I just think it's worked out, the way that it has, and those teams taking part this weekend, I think they've worked their efforts to be able to be a part of a great day this Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We had, I think at the start of the semi-finals, we had 10 clubs involved throughout the 4 grades, which has now gone down to 4, obviously. So again, the clubs have been successful, competition successful, we're successful, everyone's successful because of a great competition, as you keep saying.
Mate, just a question I probably have, obviously, and Les raised it just a minute ago, just for an insight into our viewing audience, and probably even anyone that's only just joined our podcast, because, mate, from that first time we spoke to you this year to now, our audience has definitely grown, which is great, and I think a lot of that has to do with, me and Les's G-ups. We didn't realise that the fun and games we were having also attracted people's input into one, watching the podcast, and 2, into the games week in, week out, because we copped a pizzling over the last 4 weeks for all different reasons. And I'll tell you what, it's been an absolute laugh.
For my great tipping.
Les has got me into so much crap, but it's not funny. But, mate, going back to the behind the scenes, like, what does it take for people at your end to get, 1, the competition operational, and then 2, to get this final series working the way that it did?
Oh, where do I start? It's been it can be a headache, it really can. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, the emails that we get directly from clubs, either good, bad or otherwise. There's all that to consider. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made. Again, on behalf of clubs, on behalf of the competition, it's just massive. We meet once a month, have a board meeting once every month, and in between that, there's probably 20 or 30 or 40 different emails that we always talk about with each other, and phone calls. It's a massive job. I said to someone only last night that I reckon I'm probably could easily justify 20 to 25 hours a week without going to games.
Without a doubt,
still admin work. Yeah.
Yeah, well, being a person that actually also sits behind a desk, I can 100% agree with what you've just said, mate. I know from the outside looking in, people probably only see you guys, through the year at different games, or and then through the final series every weekend, and they probably just see you turn up, jump out of your vehicles, come into the ground, set yourselves up, and then operate a competition. But you've nailed it, mate. Behind the scenes stuff, anyone that understands what administration's like from a rugby league point of view, the amount of work you guys do goes unappreciated. And I really honestly mean that. That's not to blow your trumpets. I think it really goes unappreciated at times, but it's not until you get into positions like me and Les now, which I think is a bit of a privilege to be able to do what we do now with the podcast, but we get to see the behind the scene work that goes on. We also get to see the effects it has on people, both good, bad or otherwise. So, again, to get to this point in the competition, week in, week out of 16 rounds, which is a long year, and then get to a 4-week final series, mate. Just into the final series is where we see you guys up your ante. What's that been like, mate, from week one of finals to now?
Again, it's been busy. You know, the referees get involved as well, as you know, on the gates. Again, there's more criticism that's thrown at both referees and the NRRRL. And I'm not talking about appointments. I'm talking about the people that are ill-informed on what the referees actually do for us in the gate, what they do assisting with ground management, things like that. And then, of course, you've got the appointments on top of that. Everyone's got their opinion on who should be appointed to each game. The board all get together. It's probably the only time during the year we're all together at one game. So that's good in itself. We all see how each other works, and we work together as well. We've had New South Wales Rugby League staff with Tanya and Wade on board last week and again this week to assist where possible with the ground management side of things. It just steps up another level. It's unbelievable. Your adrenaline's running all day. You know, I turn up at court date probably and get home at 7 o'clock at night sometimes on the final series.
Well, mate, going into this weekend's grand final down at Ballina, this is similar to the two teams in first grade and all the other teams in the lower grades that are playing this weekend. This is actually your grand final as well this weekend for all those people you just talked about. So I honestly, you know, hope that people would go away tonight watching this conversation and think about all the work that does go in behind the scenes. The last thing I want to ask you is going into, you've come out of 2 years of COVID. You went into, as much as I hate to say it, about a year and a half of flood, and you're here 2023, mid-September, grand final weekend. What's the highlight of the past 3 years to get to this point, and particularly this year? What's been one of the highlights that you think you could take away from this year that you can actually, you know, be really proud about, mate? Put you on the spot now, haven't I?
Oh yeah. I'm going to have to say, watching the clubs re-succeed, if that makes sense. You know, the amount of damage that was done during those floods and the effect that COVID had on a lot of our clubs. We saw a couple of clubs walk away from the competition because of COVID, and they're back, successfully. The two Lismore clubs, you know, Northern and Morris Brothers, together with Evans, Lower Clarence, they all suffered heavily in the floods, and look at the success they've had. If those clubs weren't successful, they wouldn't have appeared in the semi-finals, and they have. And we had Lower Clarence appear in all five.
That's
sorry, the league tag they didn't make it, but
it was pretty massive.
4 out of the 5. So, you know, that's probably got to be the highlight. It really is watching the success, the clubs re-succeed at what they used to do 3 years ago.
No, mate. I think both Les is looking at me shaking his head, and I would suggest that you get no issues from us. We both would 100% agree with that. And I think it's been a credit, you know, again, to people like yourself. It's been a credit to the competition, all those people behind the scenes, and then obviously those other people that make the game happen, that wear those wonderful white uniforms on game days and do those things on the gate throughout the final series, mate, those referees, because without them we wouldn't also be where we are today as a competition as well. So it's I think that's a pretty good way to highlight this particular year, because it is the first year that pretty much has been the uninterrupted year.
That's right.
So, you know, that being said, and I didn't really see it until you just said it about the re-succeed of those clubs that I think integral to the success, and hopefully touch wood moving forward. We see the same thing happen for Casino. We see the same thing happen for Kyogle, you know, and Mullumbimby. Down the, you know, they were still good this year.
They were good this year.
They were great.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think they can only improve as well. So, mate, again, hats off. Credit to you. Probably, I know that I said that was the last thing I was going to ask you, but there is one more thing. And I know you're not going to do it. But what's one of the things that you're going to, I think, hopefully look forward to out of Sunday?
Jack, go for your beer.
Apart from shouting Goffy a beer,
I don't drink a football coffee.
what's one of the things that you're looking forward to about this Sunday, mate, that you think could top the year off that, and how you unpack that?
A well-behaved crowd.
Oh, there you go. That's good. There. Well, you're gonna have that, particularly from people like me and Les, because we're not drinking. So, we'll be well behaved. I think we're going to be behind microphones, to be honest, and headsets.
You'll be fine. Benji's not coaching. He'll be well behaved.
Hey, listen, settle down, mate. I'll tell you what. I actually said this to Harrow on the weekend. Once my coaching duties finished a couple of weeks ago,
Yep.
I got the opportunity to, one for a better term, pull my bloody head in, and look at how other coaches can react or respond. And guess what? I said, oh God, thank God I'm not the only one. Look, and I mean, I think the bigger thing in that, though, Les, and Harrow probably could have toned to this as well, like when you spend pretty much 6 to 8 months of a year with these blokes that you form I think a life-lasting relationship with, unless some of the blokes don't agree with your decisions and they never see you again or want nothing to do with you. It's hard not to be engaged and passionate because you're not just caring about the result, you're caring about the blokes that are out there doing the work for you all year. You care about, their lives, their livelihood outside of football, their families, because majority, if not all these guys, have families that come to the game and, pay through the gate and probably help and volunteer in their clubs as well. So for me, I think it's just, I'm glad you've sort of put that out there. It's been...
Yeah. And what you're saying, mate, is 100% correct. It is. That's what you guys look at. But what we also look at is what happens off the field itself. I met a couple at Ballina a fortnight ago, and I actually shouted them entry into the game because I heard the weekend before that they haven't missed a game all year. They've got no one playing in the game. They do have a nephew that used to be involved with the Ballina club, but they're just genuine supporters of our game in our competition. Yep. We need more of those. But if we get some of these idiots on the hill or idiots under a tent that scream behind a couple of cans, we're not going to get those people back. Yeah. That's what I want. The crowds need to increase, and the idiots need to decrease. Simple as that.
So I've only got one more question for you, mate, and then
So you said 2 questions again.
I've got one more. This is a really important question, mate, and me and the big fox in it. So, do we get a media pass this weekend?
Yeah, mate, I'll shout.
Okay, well, media pass is on. High five, big fella. Done.
I've got one more question.
Oh, God, Jesus. Okay, this will be interesting because it doesn't...
Who are you tipping? Ballina or Coogee?
He's not going to say that. He's the president of the competition, mate.
He's got it.
I was talking to my lovely wife just before you rang me, Goffy.
I want people to feed.
And I actually predicted Tag will be...
Oh, I can't wait for this. I didn't think you were going to do this, Harrow. You're warming me up, brother. Keep it going. Let's go.
Join our crew. Okay, Lamble.
Momentum is all I'll say one word for that team. Momentum.
Yeah, exactly. They've come from 4th, win every game, get to the GF, so they've got to be in with a shot.
And winning comfortably.
We'll keep our view. We're going to, just before you go, we're keeping our views
till later. But
bring it on. I love this. You've got to be the ballsiest president in any competition I've ever seen, brother. Keep going.
18s.
Under 18s, Wollongbar.
Yep.
Don't agree with him, Lees. You've got to wait.
No, I'm just saying, yeah.
Sorry, Harrow. I'm interrupting the interrupter. Go ahead, mate. You're good.
Right.
Reserve grade.
Going back to 18s, I think Bellamble will be very, very strong. Hard to beat after the way they played last weekend. And again, coming from 4th spot, I think they went 2 or 3rd.
I've only got one. I've only got one word for that prediction.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it's 2 words. It's Ethan Geraldine.
We spoke about him on the weekend, didn't we?
We did, and he didn't take too much of a part of the game on the weekend. He came on late for Bellamble, but mate, the week before he was outstanding.
Yeah. I think he played different with a 10 on his back.
Yeah, a bit of a Darwin kid. There you go.
I believe he'll be back back in the 13 this weekend.
Yep. So there you go. Yep.
We'll see how he goes. Reserve grade, I'm going to go Coogee again. Momentum.
Yeah, I'm with you. Oh, sorry.
Shush.
I shouldn't say that. Yep, keep going.
And I think Coogin have, especially that side, Mitch Harmon has done a great job over the years with that side. They're a reasonably young side. They've got a lot of enthusiasm, and they know how to win.
Yep.
Like it.
First grade, I'm going to say I think Ballina will be too strong. Been the benchmark all year. Coogin have got a hell of a lot of momentum again coming into the games. They've got some strong forwards in the Zebel brothers. Their offloads of the weekend were just outstanding. Ballina knows how to handle Batiste. And I think Ballina just will be too strong. But a very close game. Very close game.
There you
There
go.
we go.
There you go. The ballsiest president of New South Wales rugby league competitions in the state, Mark the Man Harrison. Thank you, mate. Very much appreciated your time tonight. And we really appreciated your insight into the competition this year. We thank you again for making the time to come on. And, mate, we look forward to seeing, and we might even catch up with you on Sunday before the main game and have a bit of a chat live on maybe bar. We'll see how we go. Get some interviews happening and get out and about. But, mate, congratulations on a great season. Thank you again, and I can't wait to Sunday.
Yeah, well done, Mark. Well done.
Thank you. And just from our point of view, guys, if I can say it as well, from the competition to you, thank you for what you've done with this podcast. It's been great going to away games, so I get to listen to this in the car rather than the radio.
That's good.
So thanks for sharing and promoting our competition. Really appreciate it.
No, mate, thank
Thanks,
you guys for coming along for the ride as well. It's been great. We've absolutely
We've
loved
loved
it. And we'll be looking to be bigger and better next year after the GF this weekend.
We'll
So
get our
Right.
technical.
we'll get all the technicalities right. No more said. You know what I'm talking about, Harrow. So, but anyway, thanks, mate.
Good job, Harrow.
All right.
Have a great night, mate. See ya.
Thanks, mate.
Okay, that was a nice conversation there with the president of the competition, mate. Let's get on to the next part of our segment tonight, which is talking to some of the players that are playing this weekend in the GF. And we want to thank the Ballina captain, is that right? Co-captain.
Ciro's the captain this year. I've been out injured for a bit, so he's taken the reins.
The old captain?
Big fella. Old captain.
Yeah, the old captain. We'll call him the old
The
captain
old
because
captain.
this is his last year because he did make that announcement last time he was on the podcast.
Yes, he did.
So to all the audience, we'd like to welcome the old Ballina captain that's playing this weekend, Jess Perry. How are you, mate?
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, just getting ready for grand final week. It's been good.
How's it been preparing for a grand final with a baby, newborn?
Been tough. It's like getting to training's tough, but just doing your own stuff outside, trying like going to gym and stuff has been very, very difficult. So yeah.
The only thing I would like to say to you in that regard, mate, is just enjoy the kilos. They only last for a little bit.
Yeah.
And once the little fella's on his feet and he's all running around, it just strips straight back off, mate. You won't even know yourself. In retirement, enjoy the kilos. They actually come with fatherhood, mate.
It's not looking good once after this grand final. It'll be a festive season and not doing much sport and that. So I might.
How do you plan that? We're like win, lose, or draw. You got this weekend. You got the new barb. I have no doubt whatsoever that the better half of the Perry clan now would have had a very stern conversation with. So what's Mad Monday going to be like? Jess.
Yeah. Either way, it's going to be big. The year that we did lose against Tweed Coast Raiders, it was probably one of our biggest ones yet. I don't know if it was drinking our sorrows away or what, but it was probably our biggest one that we've had. So win or lose, we're going to be going hard, I think. And
you're going home.
Pardon?
And you're going home.
No, I've already asked for the two.
You got a pass, did you?
Yeah.
There you go.
I've scheduled it in the calendar.
Well, there you go. That's exactly the answer that I thought you would hopefully come up with, because I was thinking of how you're going to manage life beyond Sunday.
Yeah.
So going into that, mate, we obviously for you this year, going into the season, obviously every club, and particularly Ballina, with the type of season you guys are looking at, there's a bit of a 10-year ring to this one for you guys, and that was a bit of a potent thing that you mentioned when you were on before. But now, what, 4 days away from that ultimate, goal you were setting yourselves at the start of your pre-season to now, mate. This Sunday you're playing in the grand final. Bit of a, as I said, a bit of a 10-year theme for you guys, not just for you guys as players, but for your families and all those blokes that have, were maybe there 10 years ago, but maybe not able to be, playing this weekend because of their age and moved on and whatever.
Yeah.
How is it, mate? What did you?
Yeah.
What's it been like for you this year?
Yeah, it's been awesome. We obviously set the goal, a few goals at the start of the year, and we've been ticking them off as the season's gone on. But I mean, every team's main goal is to win the grand final. So and that's, we're going to be trying our best to get us over the line on the weekend. But I don't know. It's been a pretty close comp. I mean, once you get into the finals, that top six, I just felt like any team could, win the grand final, really, just because of the way it's set up. And Coogins come from scraping into the finals to versus in the grand final, and they're hitting their straps at the right time of the season, So you just don't know what's going to happen. You just got to prepare and do your best on the day.
So talking about preparation, because this big fox here fella sitting next to me always tells me about the meticulous ballot of preparation. I don't know why he tells me, because I actually have to remind him that, you know what, Les, I used to be down there as well, as a player and a coach, so I know about the meticulous ballot of preparation into a season. But how's that preparation been for you guys this year, mate?
Oh, I mean, Barnsy's gone over everything, really. We've been doing big sessions, literally nearly every Tuesday after a big game, no matter we win by 60 or we win by 2. Spike would run the soreness out of us on a Tuesday for the first 45 minutes, so just cardio. So we've just been getting, flogged, really. But then Fridays, obviously, ball work and that. But the weekend we had just gone off, we got into some more cardio, did a 2-hour session. So Barnsy's just wanting us to be the fittest team in the comp, and if you're the fittest team in the comp, if you give yourself the best chance, I think. Skill goes a long way, but I feel like our fitness is, I think, the best in the comp, and that's what's got us to where we are.
I was going to say, mate, you had the week off on the weekend. Did you do the infamous spike session, did you, on the Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah. Just got absolutely flogged. Hills and whatnot. I don't know where there's hills on a footy field, but we'll find them hills wherever they were around the ground and whatnot. So yeah, it was
beautiful.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it needs to be done, but it hurts.
Mate, what are you looking for? What are you looking forward to this weekend?
Well, we versed Coogin round 1, so it's been a long time since we versed him again.
Was that the only game you played him this year outside of this game?
Only game we played him was round 1.
How ironic is that?
I know, it's weird. It's and it was a tough game. We got a lot of injuries in that game. 2 guys went for the season, so to where we are now, it's we've got a bit of a new side, and they've got a very similar side to where we versed round 1. So as I said, they're peaking at the right time. We're still doing what we've been doing all year, but they're definitely coming in form to the game.
Mate, just again looking at, obviously the work that goes in behind the scenes down at Ballina this weekend. There's obviously not just about the general volunteers. A lot of those volunteers in your club right throughout your season, obviously, but this weekend you'll be calling on everybody. There's a lot of family connections between players and parents and brothers and sisters and all that sort of stuff. What's that been like? Obviously being the host club and what goes on behind the scenes, but what's that been like this week down there at the Ballina Footy Club?
Yeah, it's all been happening. They did a big work and bee thing on Saturday morning before we trained, and they were just cleaning everything out, gurning everything. But we that was the seniors, but then we realised that the juniors have got their grand final the day before, so it's I think day. After the juniors finish, we're going to have to do the whole, not all of it again, but there's going to be a lot of cleaning and done. It's going to be a big 2 days for everyone. So all these volunteers that are giving up their time, pretty much are going to have their whole weekend taken up with helping us out, and so it's massive to all them guys, and we appreciate it, and hopefully we can get a win and and have a few drinks afterwards with them.
Mate, we had a bloke, I know we do really appreciate your time and effort coming on tonight,
Yeah.
but Les gave me a phone call mid-morning.
He's disappointed.
We had a real special guest coming on tonight in your coach, Barnsey. We don't know what happened, whether it was a cold feet
I know
moment.
what he's doing.
Apparently he's got no
He's got
reception.
his disguise on and he's up there watching Coogin train.
I'm just going to tell you, so,
Fucking weird.
mate, I'll tell you, there was a bloke on the weekend. I was up, obviously, at the Balambo Coogin game on the weekend, doing a bit of sideline work on the weekend, and I swear to God, and I'm not joking about this, I swear to God, there was a bloke that was trying to be very unassuming, and for the life of me, I actually texted Les and I went, can you text Barnsey and find out where he is? And he said, what for? And I went, mate, I'm sure there's this guy that's in a bit of a disguise or trying to be. It's Barnsey. So I don't know if it was, but Barnsey's the king of disguises. I have no doubt you wait till Monday and he'll have the biggest. You guys won't even know he's had Mad Monday anymore. But
Literally, most teams we've versed this year, he's gone up on the nights that they do their ball work, and he'll be sitting there watching with a tally, watching your train, writing down notes. And by the end of the notes, they get a bit scribbly, and he goes to train in the net because we train Friday, and he reads them out to us. He goes, "Jesus, I don't even remember that, or what does that say?" You know? So he's obviously sitting there watching, just having a beer.
yeah,
He's not a successful coach for nothing.
yeah, mate, he does
Yeah.
well. If there's one thing you learn in your trade as a coach when you've come through the Ballina Footy Club, and your old man's probably got a lot to do with this too, Jess, mate, you always make sure you not just know the team you're coaching, but you also know a lot about your oppositions week in, week out. It's not about, obviously you said you guys played Coogin in round one, and ironically you're playing them this weekend at home. But that was one of the big things that was, I suppose, implanted in me as a coach, because I started my coaching career in the junior league down in Ballina and then progressed obviously to seniors and then now doing what I've done, beyond that. But for me, the big thing that was always pushed on coaches down there is to know your job, and know it well, know what goes into coaching, go on and off the field, but also know about reading oppositions and doing it well again, and making sure you relayed those key messages back to teams where your players that were taking part in not just your grand final days, but even your week-to-week games. So that's obviously a thing that's passed on to people like yourself, in years to come for your own benefit, but also to Barnsey as well, that has been through those same processes that I've been through down there.
Yeah, there's been a few senior people at the club that have been massive and handing down them skills. So yeah, it's been passed down, and it's been good definitely the last 10, 12 years, at the club that I've been senior footy and juniors before that, it was amazing. So it's good to be a part of.
Well, this weekend, me and Les are going to do something different.
What are we doing?
We had a plan way before the grand final that if it was in Ballina, we were going to be the Yobbos on the hill, and we're going to have such a great day that day. But we're going to do something really weird and different anyway. We're going to have the headsets on, and we're going to be calling the bloody game, to which I'm really now happy about, because I've never had the opportunity to be on the side on a grand final day to have the headsets on and actually call a game. So it's going to be good, because everyone that I'm calling, just about everyone in your team, I've had something to do with, coaching wise, person wise, family wise. So for me, this is done full circle. So I can't wait to Sunday.
Yeah, that's gonna be good, mate. And Dad will be there on Yobbo's Hill running the bar. So you just yell out to him, and I'm sure he'll bring you some.
We're going to get a bit of a roving mic. That's the plan. Is that the plan, Goffy? Yeah. We're going to have a bit of a roving mic this weekend, and we're going to get out and about. If we can't do it through Bar TV, Goffmeister's going to put it. We'll actually use that footage next week going into our podcast. We're going to call it. We're not going to call next week's podcast the after. We're going to call it the aftermath. And we're going to get out and about through Goffy and Mark's, Mark Goff Media Sport. We're going to get out and about. We're going to do some random interviews throughout the day, and then we're going to hopefully Goffy will do the right thing and play them all next week, and we can catch up. We might even catch up with the Pez Meister as part of his present, his preparation going into before he gets into that shed mindset. So we'll see how you go.
See how we go, mate. Yep, keen for whatever.
So,
Well, mate,
just quickly. So, 2013, we broke the drought.
Yep.
You broke the drought. 20-year drought.
Yep.
And now it's 2023, 10 years later. How many grand finals has it been now for Ballina in that 10-year stint?
We've had 7 at home and lost 1.
7 at home and lost 1.
So, yeah, this will be our... So, I've won 6 grand finals, and this will be hopefully the 7th on the weekend.
This will be
All
7th.
goes well.
mate, there's one probably request then that I'm going to ask of you. Touch wood, things go well, and you do get some success this weekend and win the grand final, mate. But I'm going to make a call after this to Fox Sport, and I'm going to ask if we can get you on the Matty Johns show, and I want you to talk to Hindy and just tell him what it's like to win potentially seven grand finals, mate.
I'd love to, mate. I'd love to.
Mate, but it's funny to say that some people play their whole careers and not win one, Hindy. But, mate, this could be potentially 7 wins for you down there at Ballina. That's amazing.
Yeah, mate, I'm lucky. As I said when I was on there earlier in the year on the podcast, I've been lucky enough to go through with a great bunch of players. So, just happen to be there at the right time, I think. But it's all worked out well, and hopefully finish on a good note on the weekend with a few of my best mates coming back to the club. So it's been a good year so far. So hopefully finish on a good note. Even me good mate Ali Grant's he's been a part of the training and organising the Mad Monday. So
hang on. Just so I think I'm going to have Monday off work because I do work in Ballina. If Ali Grant's organising Mad Monday, I'm staying clear of the town. I'm not going nowhere near it.
We're leaving town anyway, mate.
Oh, that's a very good idea. Well done. And mate, the only thing I will say to you is good luck. Because I know Ali will have the absolute best Mad Monday planned ever in the history of evers.
He's been playing it since he got injured, so he's excited. So.
Well, mate,
we'll let you get back to
we're going to let you get back to that wonderful little person that is now a big part of your life in your son.
Yep.
We wish you all the best, mate, and going into this weekend, mate, just give it your best, mate, and we know you will, and pass on our best wishes to all the guys down at Ballina and all the people that have been associated with the club this year, mate.
Thank you for that, man. I appreciate it, and I'll see you Sunday.
See you Sunday, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesco. See you, mate.
Oh, jeez. Sorry, audience. Les just zoned me out then. So, how was that? That was, mate, that's a great insight into this weekend. We were hoping to get the same sort of thing from the Coogin. We gave one person, he only had one job this week, and that was to find out if we could get someone from the Coogin Footy Club. So all those people from Coogin, oh God, you can't. Anyway, I won't repeat what Goffey just said. All those people from Coogin, and I want to be really honest about this, the Gingy and the Fox definitely wanted someone from the Coogin Club to come on. And just as and I want to be really honest about this as well, the Coogin first grade team, the Coogin coaching staff, absolute brilliant job this year. And also Mark Harrison said scraping into the finals in I think 5th spot.
Just scraped into 5th spot.
They got into
come
5th
down
spot.
To that last game.
Mate, they're going into the grand final this weekend, not hosting any games in the final series. They've had a tough grind and win down at Evans Head down at Stan Payne
Oval.
And at points looked like they were going to, not win that game, and they pulled it out of nowhere. They come up against Northern, got away to a great start, and then with 6 minutes to go, they were probably thinking, "Holy God, it's going to happen again." And they've held themselves together, and they got away with a great result against us at home, mate. I had the pleasure to go up to Bilambil on Sunday and call that game, and also had the pleasure of calling the winning play of that game by saying that Andrew Batiste was going to be the go-to person and he was going to do what he did.
Was that Golden Point?
No, it wasn't. It was
Oh,
actually in
was it?
regular time.
Regular time.
Which is, from what I'm hearing, the Balambal guys were disputing that a little bit. They actually thought that it was timed out. But obviously, look, at the end of the day, looking back at it, I think it was just on the cusp. But now they're in a grand final. Great effort. The whole 17 to 20 odd people in their squad need to be congratulated. They're reserve grade. I've been on the reserve grade bandwagon for Coogin all year, saying they're going to go back to back, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But mate, the Coogin Hornets in first grade. I just want to put a shout out there. I know people I think people probably may have taken us a little bit the wrong way, but all those people up at Coogin, all your supporters, look, it's nothing. There's no negativity from the Gingy and the Foxy. I think we applaud the effort that you guys have done to get to, the grand final this weekend. I think we've had a good bit of fun banter with the Zeeble boys. We had a good bit of banter with the supporters from Coogin. Mate, Will being talked about again by the Coogin supporter base that was in the corner on the weekend about comments that we made before the game. It was all, just so that people that were out, it was all in good fun and faith. Okay, there is no animosities about any of the things. And again, we just want to say, look, we wish Coogin all the best this weekend.
Yeah, 100%.
Very, hopefully they get through the game unfazed and in a very healthy space. There's no hiccups along the way. And we hope you guys make it one hell of a game, because that's what everyone wants to see in a grand final day. We hate to see blowouts. So, I'm going to give you a big, beer raiser to the Coogin Hornets.
And we want to apologise again for not getting anyone on the show tonight. It was a bit
we
late
do.
notice.
But there
was
was Gothy
stuff
stuff
up.
up. He's just admitted. So, again, honestly, we do wish you all the best, guys, this weekend. And hopefully your preparation goes well during the week and you go down and give us a very entertaining game on Sunday. And we'll be there.
Yep, we'll be there. Let's get into the
Let's
last
get into
week's
it.
wrap
Let's
up.
get into it, mate. Let's get into the wrap up. You don't want to really go into the games.
We'll just
quickly
say.
go into it. We know that in the Ladies League tag, Balambal had a convincing win over Marsh Brothers. Marsh Brothers went straight out the back door in the final series. Balambal over Tweed Seagulls in the 18s, and I call that. I was 3 from 3 going into the first grade game.
I'll tip that.
Coogin, I tipped that one going into Balambal and said Coogin would win that convincingly, and they did that exactly the way that I said. I did tip Balambal at home on the weekend. And, mate, to be totally honest, when they scored that last try with 3 minutes to go, I put the mocker on Ollie Regan. I said, he kicks him from here every day of the week. He's either going to love me or hate me. Ollie, I apologise, mate.
The commentator's curse.
It was a commentator's curse.
Is that your first commentator's curse?
Oh, well, actually was. It actually was. So, Coogin ended up running out winners 16-17 with an Andrew Batiste field goal with 1 second remaining on the clock.
1 second remaining.
1 second remaining. The hooter went as the ball was going over the black dot. So congratulations to all those teams that won and now progressed through to the grand final. So
grand final week.
Leaving it over you, brother.
All right, grand final week. Let's go. Ladies League tag. The Coogin Hornets up against the Balambal Jets. Are we tipping now?
Coogin Hornets by 14.
I'm going to go with Balambal. I think they've got good momentum going in.
I've got one word for you.
What?
Dun, dun.
We'll wait and see. We can't go the same.
No,
Under
we
18s. Mawulumbar versus Balambal.
I'm jumping on the Mawulumbar train.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going Mawulumbar in a tight game.
Too strong.
Tight game.
Too strong, mate. Yep.
Mate, the reserve grade. Ballina Seagulls versus Coogin Hornets.
Well, this is people are either going to make me eat my words or not, but I'm going to very, very confidently. The Ballina Seagulls reserve grade team, really have a look at this between now and prove me wrong, but I'm saying Coogin Hornets by 12.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, I'm going
And
to
Barnes will be ringing you on
He'll be
Thursday
texting me
afternoon
going,
saying
the boys
he's
are
just
dirty
done.
on
He's just
Benji.
given our boys the biggest motivation they've ever wanted to go in the grand final. And if their only motivation is me, they're in a lot of trouble.
Mate, well, I'm going to stick with the Ballina Seagulls in reserve grade. Home ground grand final. I'm going to stick with them.
I've got 2 words for you. Du-dum, du-dum.
We'll wait and see. First grade, same. The Ballina Seagulls up against the Coogin Hornets.
I know the Coogin supporters are going to be very disappointed, and I know some of the players who we've had some really, really nice fun and banter with are probably going to be disappointed as well, but I'm actually also tipping Ballina. And I'm tipping Ballina by 14 to 18.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm actually going to agree with you, and mate, I can't go past the Ballina Seagulls. I think they've been the strongest team all year.
Their fitness
And
is
they're
on the
fit.
okay.
And I think Coogins
you know what?
just
I know people
Coogins
talk.
played some tough games.
I was just about to say, I know people talk about the Coogin run, and I know people talk about momentum. The only thing I'm going to say to that is 3 back-to-back tough weeks, just getting through week in, week out, could eventually take its toll in the back end of this game. And if it does, there's no better back-end team than the Ballina Seagulls.
And that's why I'm going to tip Ballina around the 60th minute mark to kick away and win comfortably.
You like the 60th minute thing?
65th minute.
Well, we do know your nickname from the Evans Head Bombers is Skippy.
Skippy.
So Les is going for his normal 60 minutes, even though he chucked a 5-minute on top of that. He was wanting to stick to it. So I actually not going to pick a minute, but I will stick to that 14-point margin.
Yeah.
I think
it's going to be like...
I think Ballina by 14.
I think it's going to be like 38-14 or something like that.
Good.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So
There's the Gingy and Foxy tips for this weekend. NRRRL.
Prove us wrong.
GF. I was 3 from 3 last week.
You were?
I'm going to be 4 from 4 this week.
Okay.
And there you go.
Let's wait and see.
Happy to speak to anyone during the game and after the games to say, prove you're wrong, Benji. Keep doing it, and I will. So.
Beautiful. So that's it. That's our tips for the grand final.
So we've talked to Mark Harrison. We've had the conversation.
We've done our predictions.
We've done the coaches, and we've done part of that, which is usually coaches, players, and both sides. We apologise again to the Coogin team for not getting anyone on tonight.
What about the Goff?
Let's go. Let's get a bit of Goffy's goss.
Have you got anything for us?
You got anything for us tonight, the Goffmeister?
He's quiet.
He's quiet.
Grand final weekend, he's quiet.
Well, I've got
Goffy's goss. Who do you think's going to ref?
For the A-grade grand final this week, it'll be a multi-camera shoot.
Multi-camera shoot for the A-grade
multi-camera shoot plus
the
Gingy and Foxy mic'd up moments.
Mic'd up moments
around the grounds. We're actually going to get around and about. Goffy's going to set us up with a roving mic. It may not be part of the Bar TV grand final fixture, but I'll guarantee you whatever we record will be put to the podcast next week. Is that right, Goffy?
Short snippet.
Don't hesitate, people. We'll be getting around and about. We'll be talking to people randomly, whether you're a supporter, player, coach, just a partner of a player. We're going to get around. We're going to have a chat. We're going to talk to people, even the people in the canteen. We might even get a yarn to them, even though Goffy's already made we've already come up with the canteen of the year. Sorry, Ballina. It actually is the Northern United canteen, so they've won the canteen of the year. Outside of that, probably the only bit in Goffy's goss that Goffy, I didn't know you had this on there. There's a bit in the Goffy's goss that I'm going to raise, and it was probably a bit of late mail. Mm-hmm. The referees' appointments. So, obviously, look, we talk about, I don't really care. This is controversy moment or controversy corner. We're going to talk about referees' appointments. I'm not quite sure what's happening in all the other grades. Interesting, there's been an appointment this weekend in the first grade fixture that will the referee of the first grade grand final this weekend will be none other than Josh Gollan. I think that's been now made known across the competition and through the clubs. So Josh Gollan will be the official officiator of the first grade grand final this weekend. Congratulations to Josh. And I will say, look, to be a little bit controversial, I actually think, I think Josh would have been lucky to get that job. I think the best referee in the competition this year by far is young Corey Cox, mate. He's been absolutely sensational. I watched him again last week refereeing in the reserve grade competition. And I was a bit like, oh, okay, he's doing reserve grade this week. And he did a great game the week before down at Ballina in the Ballina-Balambal game. And based on that effort and his effort in the reserve grade game, I actually thought he was a shoo-in this weekend. He's a high-quality referee. He's a good young bloke. He's working his way through the ranks, and I just thought he deserved his spot this weekend. But look, I've been proven wrong. So the appointment this weekend has been Josh Gollan. I'm not saying that Josh has been bad, but there are a lot of other people out there with other opinions as well, and, good luck to that. And again, to Josh and the Referees Association, this isn't about being controversial. I'm just being, open and honest, and I just think, congratulations to Josh, and I just think, for young Corey, mate, keep the whistle blowing, mate, and your opportunity's going to come, and when you do, mate, you're a great young bloke. And to all the referees this year, you've been absolutely sensational. You've been great. You've copped a bit of flack, even from people like me. Don't take it personal. Les has given you some as well. Don't take it personal. It's all, I think, we're willing to. I just want to be honest about this. As coaches and as people involved in clubs, don't hesitate to give us a bit of bad rap as well. Like we'll take that constructively, go away, have a look at ourselves and try and fix anything we need to fix. But we also know without these guys that we don't have a game. So
we do
all the best to
work.
every referee, touch judge going into this weekend. We wish you all the best in every grade. Let the game flow is what probably my message would be. Let the game flow and have a great weekend. And the less whistle blowing and the more officiating in the way that, in the spirit of the game is I think, the way we get a really great game on grand final day. Yeah. So there's my little controversy corner.
Beautiful.
I did put in, there needs to be an investigation, but I don't think I'm going to go there.
Alrighty.
Okay, let's get into the whatevs.
Whatevs
And word on the street.
Let's start off with Gingy's debut on Bar TV.
Well, it was interesting.
I actually turned it on and had a listen, and that's the first time I've heard you not get much of a word in.
Mate, I'll tell you, it was. Look, I'm used to working with you.
Yep.
You know that.
Yep.
Not just on the podcast, but even when we do knockouts, we do it.
We got the connection.
So I had to do the I had to do the Bar TV call in first grade on the weekend with young Dwayne.
Trying to do my role.
And mate, it was really difficult because I'm used to being the lead, and we work really well together in that space, in the lead in relation to the commentary component. I actually had to play you and let Dwayne do the lead, and I did that.
Not very good,
for about half a game, and I couldn't help myself. Dwayne, I know you're an avid watcher of the podcast, but this weekend, mate, the Gingy and the Fox and you will be definitely, I think, a great trilogy to work with. I don't know any words for three people. Like trilogy?
Trio?
Yeah, triangle. That's got three points.
Very good.
So, I think we can, and I think it's going to be one great call. I actually think it's going to be the call of the year across the whole of any people that do commentary across the state.
I can't wait for the roving mic.
It's
going to be so much
We're going to get
fun.
out and about. We're going to be interactive, and I can't wait for that either. But, mate, I'll tell you what, can I just say I was bloody nervous, eh? Cause
I could tell in your voice at the start of that game.
I was a bit quiet, eh?
Yeah.
No, you know what it was? And I mentioned this to Goffey. Instead of having the headsets like we do tonight, which most commentary teams do, I had a microphone, and it was windy, and I didn't know whether I put it right up close to my mouth or whether I put it down. So at the start, I was like this. And as the game got on, I did it in quarters. So the first quarter, boof. Second quarter, boof. Third quarter, by the end of the game, I was...
Has he got a headset this week, Goff?
Yeah, you got him on.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so look, I'm looking forward to the... It was my debut, but I couldn't have asked to do it with a better young bloke. Dwayne's a great young bloke. Goffey and the team are used to working with him, and my first time. So I think the way that we'll work together in the trilogy will be absolutely brilliant. I know we were looking at Wade, but we now know that Wade's going to have other duties, and Mark Harrison has confirmed that. He's going to be having ground official duties.
Beautiful.
So it'll be the Gingy, the Foxy, and Dwayne.
Yep.
We'll have to come up with a name for Dwayne. Oh, so we've got the Gingy, the Foxy, and the Mouth from the South.
All right.
Is Dwayne. There you go. So there you go, Dwayne. You've been tagged in, and will no doubt be the best and the biggest rugby league commentary team out there this weekend in the grand final for the NRRRL 2023 down at Ballina.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Mate,
What about this, mate? Another whatevs.
What's this whatevs?
The Tweed Seagulls.
Yeah. What's going on here?
Tweed Seagulls have put a nomination or entry into the 2024 NRRRL competition in all grades, in first grade, reserve grade, 18s, ladies tackle. Next year, so there was a meeting a few weeks back and they tabled part of their presentation, and there's going to be a full presentation by the Tweed Seagulls Rugby League Football Club. And I want to be really clear, we're not talking about the Queensland Cup team. Mm-hmm. We're talking about those grades that I've just mentioned under the entity of the Junior Tweed Seagulls Junior Rugby League, who their association is with. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a push through. Look, there's going to be a lot of conjecture about this call. There's going to be a lot of talk about should we or shouldn't we. And I want to be the first to go on record. Let's just do it. The bigger and better.
I reckon.
I think it's good for the NRRRL. It's going to be good for the competition.
No bias.
I want to be really clear. They've made it really clear there's going to be no connection between the Queensland Cup. So those people that probably have a bit of conjecture around players that can drop back and all that sort of stuff. No, the NRRRL system is a points system based on the 100-point system. That'll be in place.
So they won't be able to drop.
You won't be able. Well, no, you won't be able to do that because, as we do know, there are a lot of players that play for Tweed Seagulls in the Queensland Cup that aren't Tweed Seagulls juniors.
Okay.
So what happens normally within the competition at the moment, if they don't get a run in that competition, they usually go back and play in the Queensland. I think they call it the Gold Coast competition and play for either Tugun, Burleigh, all those types. So these guys will be fully fledged NRRRL committed.
So what about the Q Cup players that can go back and play for the...
Yeah, no, the point systems take care of that. The 100-point system is in play.
So they can go back as long as they're under the
if they're a
system.
junior to that club, apparently.
Okay.
So, and there aren't many. I went through the Tweed Seagulls list of Queensland Cup players, which I think they've got a list of about 30 this year. And I reckon out of that whole squad, there's probably about 3 at the most.
Does that rule apply for any Q Cup player that wants to go back?
The same thing applies for, just an example, if Northern United have a junior that's been through our club, has an opportunity to go up and further themselves at Queensland Cup level, go up and play, they can go and play Queensland, or they can go and play Cup. Mm-hmm. They can come back to us as a permit player under the system that currently already exists, where they can get a player from Cup dropping back to their local club. That's the ultimate word here, their local club.
So they can't go back and drop back for a random club like Ballina?
Yeah, if you're a Queensland Cup player, and you've just an example of Ballina Junior, I think
if they're not a Ballina Junior.
Sorry,
if they're not a Ballina Junior.
Well, if they're not a Ballina Junior and they sign with Ballina and want to become, they actually become part of the point system.
Okay.
That's the only differential in the point system, is that you've got to be a junior that's come through the club, and then you can come back to your junior club, because obviously Ballina would be their junior club if that was the case. Mm-hmm. If it's a player that hasn't been a Ballina Junior, that's gone to Tweed Seagulls from another club, another competition, and Ballina want to sign that player as a dual register, then there's a point system that applies to that. So look, I think it's really well regimented. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's got to be put to the NRRRL clubs to vote on, but I can guarantee you, as far as I'm concerned, I'd be 100% for that to happen. So, that's my vote.
Yeah.
Okay. Player movement. It started.
Oh, silly season's already
started.
Silly
season. I call it the silly season. We've heard rumours of player movements in different clubs. There's been players talked to and talked about in relation to where they're going to be next year. You're talking about...
All right, hit me with it.
Well, there's been some rumours that things aren't as rosy as what they are, or what they have been down at the Evans Head Bombers Club. There could be some player movement within that club. There could be some player movement from other clubs in the competition. Obviously, Casino has been talked to about their coaching appointments for next year, players that are going to be staying on over there, and players that could be coming to Casino, players that could be leaving casino to broaden their wings with other clubs. We know now the other issue that's going to be coming up. You're looking at yourself there, mate. You're right there.
He caught me like making funny faces.
The other, you've got the other thing that's happening out at Kyogle. At this stage, I'm not aware of the coach that's been appointed there, but rumour has it that Mick Woods is now retired from coaching, so he's left the club. We want to go back and rebut Goffey's goss on the rumour that the current coach at Marsh Brothers, Matt, has definitely been retained.
Yep.
And I know Marsh Brothers is out there in the open market at the moment. They're throwing themselves everywhere and talking to different players to try and build on what they've done the back end of their season, and good luck to them in that space. I think we just want to make, I think it's just that time of the year, Les. I think players, we don't know what's going to happen with Ballina, whether they're going to stay together, whether they're going to there are players that are at Ballina this year that came down to play with players like young Beecher, the centre that's set the water light in Ballina at the moment. He's come from up the coast, and the rumour has it that he's going back after this season, and the travel's sort of probably the big thing in that bit.
Young Ethan Roberts.
You got Ethan Roberts that's doing the same thing. So, it is the silly season. There's probably 1,000 rumours out there about Northern United, but I'm going to not rebut any. I'm just going to say that there's one thing that Northern United will be doing. We definitely have retained and will be retaining the core of our squad from this year. If anything, we'll probably build on what we've got rather than look to put the rumour to bed out there too to the other clubs. No, we haven't gone out there and tried to poach players. I don't think we're in that sort of a position at the moment. We're in a position to consolidate, and that's our priority. And then maybe build, maybe one or two blokes into that current squad to be healthy, and then be more competitive than what we were this year, and still reach for that same ultimate goal that everyone does, which is trying to win a premiership.
Don't you love silly season?
Oh, mate. Now they're only the early part of the season. Grand final's not even over yet, and the rumour mill started. I picked up all these over the weekend, by the way. Half of them, guess where I picked up at? Dwayne. It was up at the game at Ballamble at Coogin, and people go, "Hey Benji, did you hear about?" And I went, "Oh God." So the worst thing you're going to find out this weekend, Les, the minute you wear this and this, you're going to get a lot of tapping on the leg, and you're going to get a lot of people coming and say, "Can you say this? Can you say that?"
So I'm going to.
And then you're also going to get this other thing is, "Have you heard about the?" And I was like, the next thing, "Have you heard about the big strong man?" No. Don't do that. Anyway,
all right.
That's the rumour mill so far. The last thing.
Quickly.
Yeah, very quickly.
Very quickly,
mate. It's we're 1 week away from the Northern United Rugby League Football Club and the Lismore Aboriginal Rugby League knockout for 2023, to which we're proudly sponsored by a whole range of different sponsors. We've got a few new sponsors coming on next year to the podcast. We've got a few new, which I can make announcements tonight. We've got new sponsors coming on for the knockout this year too. In a week or so. Maybe this might help me and you. There's a new company called Indigenous Wealth that are now going to be coming on board the podcast next year from a sponsorship point of view. They might even have been Indigenous Wealth. You reckon they can buy some shirts? But I'm just saying.
Don't get me started.
So, yeah, we've got and the Indigenous Wealth Company, and I'll just briefly go into that. They're an organisation, they're actually a company that works with Indigenous people across the board to help them with things like home loans, financial support and information, looking at things like managing your own super or self-managed super funds, financial advice in relation to investment, property management. So those guys are going to be great. I think next year coming on board with not just the podcast, but obviously the knockouts, and then more importantly going into the season next year with Northern United. So, mate, I'm proud to be associated with those guys, and I think Brett Gimbert, who's their founding managing director and the founder of the Indigenous Wealth Organisation and company, mate, we thank you for coming on board, and we really wish you all the best, and we hopefully want to grow with you as well. So there you go, announcement of a new sponsor.
Beautiful, nice work, Benji. Shout outs.
I'm not doing this.
Shout outs.
You're doing it.
Shout outs. Okay, I've got a couple of shout outs here. Shout out to the Ballina Seagulls under 12s. They got the grand final this weekend.
age do they become competitive?
That's coached by Davey Turner.
11s? Davey Turner.
Yep.
Oh, there's a name from the past. Coach Davey. Hopefully, Davey, the only thing I say is, mate, I know he used to be a pretty bit of not a pretty bit, but I used to be a very hard young coach. The only thing I'd say is don't take a leaf out of my book back then, but, hopefully, mate, you guys get up this weekend. So, thumbs up to the Ballina under 12s.
Also, they want to know if there's any girls out there that are interested in girls tackle for 2024, get in touch with the club as well. Ballina Seagulls.
Ballina Seagulls.
Yeah.
Who's that, Abby Beecher?
I'm not too sure who's running it. But
Yeah, there you go, mate. Ballina Seagulls will be in tackle 2024.
You can send them an email at Ballina Seagulls Junior Rugby League at gmail.com.
Is that just junior rugby league, or they playing in Ballina?
That was the email for Junior Rugby League.
Oh, there you go.
Mate,
Girls
in the
tackle.
13s in the junior grand final, we've got Ballina and Casino.
So here we go. We'll just quickly run through some grand finals for Junior League on Saturday to be played also down at Kingsford Smith Park down in Ballina. So under 13s is
Ballina Casino.
Ballina v Casino.
Under 14s is Kyogle v Ballina.
14s Kyogle v Ballina.
15s is Casino versus Ballina.
15s Casino v Ballina.
Under 16s is Maris versus Clarence.
16s Marsh Brothers v Lower Clarence Magpies.
Under 17s girls tackle
17s Girls Tackle.
is Maris Brothers versus Grafton.
Marsh Brothers versus Grafton.
Yeah, now we go to the lower grade.
Was that under 17s Tackle?
Yeah,
Who is it? Marsh Brothers v...
Grafton.
That's a
You sure?
girls tackle, is it?
Girls tackle, yeah.
I thought... Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're definitely right.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
in field 2, we got first game in field 2 was girls league tag. Is Grafton versus South Grafton.
Grafton versus South Grafton in field 2 with league tag.
Then we go to under 11s, which is Ballina versus Maris Gold.
Under 11s, Ballina versus Marsh Gold.
Then we go to under 14s, which is Casino versus South Grafton. That's girls tackle.
Casino v South Grafton in the under 14s
Girls
tackle.
Yep.
Girls tackle.
Yep, girls
Under
tackle, sorry.
12s, field 2 is Ballina versus Kyogle.
And then in the under
12.
12s, Ballina v Kyogle, and that's in
Field 2.
field 2.
Field 2, that's on field 2.
There you go. So there's two grounds down there down at the Ballina complex, Kingston Smith Park.
Get down there and
Get
support
down there,
the juniors.
support the juniors, and get behind those young kids who are the future of the competition moving forward.
Shout out to Ryan, the Packy.
Oh, Packy, there you go. The Packy twins. I absolutely love coaching those boys.
Benny Crawford.
Benny Crawford. Crawf. Mate, Benny, the only thing I could say is I really hope you've honed your driving skills, mate, because I came out of a petrol station one day down at Ballina, and as I came out, mate, you nearly ran directly into me, and you blew the horn and gave me the bird. And I'll tell you what, mate, if I didn't know who you were, I would have snapped that bird right in half.
Mate, I'll let you take this one.
Mate, I haven't got my glasses.
You're going to have to put them on.
Okay, this is...
Let me make it big for you.
Here we go. This is a special shout out. Special shout out to our brother Kiwi. Brother Kiwi from up the Goldie. Here we go. You're right, Leslie.
Hang on a sec. There you go.
There you go. Our brother Kiwi from up at
big enough?
our brother Kiwi from up at the Goldie. He's on our Facebook page. Every chance he can get. Avid, I mean this. Avid podcast watcher and supporter. A Ricky mate. There you go, Ricky. How are you, brother? Big shout out from the Gingy and the Fox.
Our apologies.
The young fella here, we should.
And we got the shout out.
Our apologies if Benji gets a pronunciation of
Our
this
shout
word.
out in that is shout out to and forgive me for the pronunciation, Ricky, please do, but I'm going to have a crack at it. Shout out to the Nongawahi Panthers and the Tarangawahi Rugby League Club. There you go. If I've got that wrong, and that's in New Zealand. So, mate, all the best to both those clubs this weekend in their grand final. Big shout out from the Gingy and the Fox, and hopefully you guys are watching us over in NZ. Big shout out to, lastly, who was that?
The young guy you always say you shout out to.
Kyden.
Oh, yeah.
I can't miss it. He's getting shouted out every week.
Every week.
Kyden. Big shout out to Kyden. We'll see you hopefully down at the GF this weekend on Saturday in the Junior League and hopefully again on Sunday. If not, we know where we definitely will be seeing you, and we're going to catch up with you at the Curry Knockout Oaks Oval, Crozier Oval.
They're going to put you on camera.
Next weekend, 15th, 16th and 17th. And we'll actually get you on the podcast and we'll get you on the real live show down here at the Koori Knockout in 1 week's time.
And that's it, Benji. That's a grand final wrap.
That's it. That would be, my friends, a Gingy and Foxy and NRRRL grand final wrap. See you at the grand final, guys, Sunday.